It was a historic day in our nation's capital. Joe Biden sworn in as the nation's 46th president, and Vice President Kamala Harris becomes the first woman to ever hold the office. Tonight, the flurry of executive orders the new administration is putting into place. Plus,
we need our legislators to step up. We need our representatives to step up and be the voice of us people.
Even as Governor Jay Inslee eased restrictions just a little bit for restaurants, voices in the community are saying it's still not enough. What local restaurant owners are pushing to bring to the governor's desk in Olympia.
Watching for the potential of light snow both tonight and tomorrow, while at the same time tracking the chances for snow over the weekend.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
We are taking a live look at the White House tonight, where President Joe Biden is spending his first night there as the 46th president of the United States. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Hello everyone, I'm Regina Ahn. Well, for the administration, this wasn't just a day of celebration, it was a day of work. Tonight, the president signed executive orders on a broad range of issues.
From the coronavirus pandemic to climate change and immigration, the president hoped to fulfill some key campaign promises. Ed O'Keefe reports tonight from Capitol Hill.
President Biden and the First Lady arrived at the White House this afternoon, trailed by family members and flanked by Secret Service. Inside, freshly hung pictures of the new occupants already on the walls, and a letter waiting for Mr. Biden from President Trump.
Because it was private, I will not talk about it until I talk to him, but it was generous.
Mr. Biden wasted no time getting to work in the Oval Office, signing executive orders ending construction launched by President Trump on the southern border wall, scrapping his so-called Muslim travel ban, and rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement.
There's no time to start like today's.
He also ordered a nationwide masking policy on federal property and extended a pause on evictions, foreclosures, and student loan payments.
A raging virus, growing inequity, the sting of systemic racism, a climate in crisis. Any one of these would be enough to challenge us in profound ways.
With the two new Democratic senators from Georgia sworn in this afternoon, giving his party control, President Biden will have a better shot at passing his $2 trillion economic rescue package and an immigration reform plan. Mr. Biden called on Republicans to join him.
Are we going to step up, all of us? It's time for boldness.
After his speech, 17 Republican House members announced they'd work with him, including 11 who challenged his victory on the House floor just 2 weeks ago. But some Senate Republicans have already called his immigration plan a non-starter, and a contentious impeachment trial likely won't help. Still, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is optimistic.
I'd like to work with the president where I can, and we'll see what happens.
Here on Capitol Hill tonight, the Senate confirmed Mr. Biden's first cabinet pick, Avril Haines, to serve as Director of National Intelligence. But otherwise, he ends day one with most departments run by acting cabinet secretaries. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Despite the president's goals of unity today, 3 people have been arrested after a protest against ICE. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement turned violent and destructive in downtown Seattle. The protest began in Occidental Park and grew in size throughout the evening. They marched throughout the downtown core, lit an American flag on fire, vandalized buildings, and assaulted people. Graffiti left behind cursed the president, vice president, and police.
The Pac-12 announced tonight that Commissioner Larry Scott is mutually parting ways with the conference at the end of June. Scott's last day will be June 30th. He was the conference commissioner for 11 years. The decision came tonight on a conference CEO's call, and the search for a new commissioner will begin immediately. Of note, WSU President Kirk Schultz and UW's president were 2 of the 3 school presidents named in the Pac-12's press release as being part of the search committee. Scott's time with the Pac-12 was not always the smoothest, including this fall when he paid himself and executives bonuses before announcing layoffs and furloughs for other Pac-12 employees.
With restrictions still in place, several local restaurants are calling on Governor Jay Inslee to reevaluate current protocols. Limited indoor dining has been in place since last year. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones explains how the impact has been in Spokane.
Restaurants have been some of the hardest hit businesses during this pandemic. At one point, they were allowed to reopen for indoor dining, but that stopped back in November.
There's no end in sight or a plan in sight, and that's been probably the hardest case for me.
Over the last 2 months, takeout orders have been the main source of income for restaurants in Spokane. Preparing for what's next has been nothing short of a challenge, and as they wait for updates from the state, some businesses are pleading for a chance to safely reopen.
50% allows us to hire our staff back.
Derek Baziotis is one of several restaurateurs, a part of a new public service announcement. They're calling on the governor for a return to 50% capacity.
We will continue to regulate our restaurants to make them safe.
Just this morning, Baziotis testified on behalf of Senate Bill 5114. It's a push that would allow restaurants to function at 25% capacity. He wants to safely bring back his business without fear of being shut down once again. But there's also a concern that 25% isn't enough to help.
If we could just break even, if we could bring our employees back and pay them, if we could pay our bills, if we could pay our landlord, and that's that, then that will be the Band-Aid that we need.
Opening at 50% would be similar to what they did over the summer. With growing support across the region, the business owners are hoping their unified voice will be a spark for change.
And at some point, you have to trust us. You have to trust that we're accountable to the health department, we're accountable to our community, and that we will do our part if we're given the opportunity as we have in the past.
Bastango tells me they've struggled with takeout orders during the closure. Many restaurants are trying to figure out how to properly place their orders without letting their food go bad.
Do you believe the state grants were any help in terms of the restaurants across the region?
I want to earn my money. And for me to want to earn my money, we got to be open. And my employees want to earn their money.
The current roadmap to recovery would allow 25% in phase 2. Until then, only outdoor dining and open air dining will be allowed.
I think we really need to reopen for 50%, and we need to do it like ASAP.
From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
And tomorrow, Governor Jay Inslee will have a press conference to give an update on the state's response to the ongoing pandemic. Meantime, the Spokane Regional Health District is reporting 104 new coronavirus cases today. 1 new death was also reported today. Currently, 107 people are in the hospital here locally due to the virus, and 78.6% of cases in Spokane County have recovered so far. Meantime, in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 141 new cases today. No new deaths were reported, and currently 64 North Idaho residents are in the hospital there due to COVID-19.
In the meantime, Idaho Governor Brad Little announced today that he is revising the State Board of Education high school athletic plan to allow more spectators to sports games. Governor Little said this comes after a weeks-long decrease in statewide coronavirus cases and hospitalizations. The State Board of Education will announce specific details about the changes in the next coming days.
Lights and the heat back on tonight for people who lost power a week ago when that powerful windstorm moved through the area. Avista announced today that power now fully restored to all of its customers. Crews worked around the clock to get the lights turned back on to Avista's 70,000 customers who lost power as a result of that storm. Let's get right to weather now with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. He is standing by in our outdoor weather center tonight. Thomas, doesn't look too bad out there tonight. No snow yet, no rain, just maybe a bit chilly tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit chilly, as it has been most nights this week. We have been waking up to some fog the last couple mornings as well. Haven't seen any reports of that so far. We'll keep an eye on the traffic cameras as of this hour, but yeah, a little bit of patchy fog might again be possible. But otherwise, pretty cloudy skies out here. I actually can see the moon through some of that cloud cover, but there is a bit of a weather system that's just grazing the coast of Washington and Oregon as of tonight. So this low pressure area actually moving off to the south, but there is a band of precipitation that's kind of extending just a little bit past the Cascades. There's the Yakima area. Looks like a little bit of light snow over that region for tonight. It might be trickling into portions of southern and southeastern Washington, even into the day tomorrow. So we'll keep tabs on that. It does not look like a lot of snow. In fact, 1 inch of snow is probably a stretch for that weather system. Otherwise, it'll probably end up staying cloudy to mostly cloudy tomorrow with those high temperatures in the mid-30s overall. But in Spokane, no precipitation, at least not for tomorrow. As I mentioned, a little bit of light snow might be possible in areas close to the Palouse and towards the Lewiston area. But I think a better and more reasonable chance of snow is expected over the course of this weekend. So I'm timing out that next weather system already. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes here.
All right, sounds good, Thomas. We'll see you in just a bit. Well, the city of Malden continuing to rebuild after those devastating wildfires back in September. So coming up, how residents can get help and a bi-weekly meeting residents can also attend. Plus,
it was truly just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, she looks like me.
Today, Kamala Harris becomes the first female vice president in the history of our nation. And it's giving young leaders hope for the future right here in the Inland Northwest.